Hello friends, my name is Masood. Today we shall discuss about topic the determined budget process of project management. Friend, today's topic is very interesting, especially if you have interest in project management or you are planning to give exam or PMP in near future. So let's start. First of all, I would request to please subscribe to my YouTube channel and click on the bell option as well so that my videos can reach to you, and also you can follow me on the Facebook page as well. Friend, a determined budget is basically a process uh, related to project cost management knowledge area defined in the PMBOK Guide Project Management Body of Knowledge. PMBOK Guide is basically a book issued by PMI Project Management Institute, which is a non-profit based organization. In this process, basically we determine the budget overall cost required to complete a project. For example, let me give you a very simple example. If you go somewhere and you want to purchase something, like for example you want to purchase a motorcycle, so what is the most important thing? The most important thing that how much money is in your pocket. Okay, so if you have a money in your pocket, so you can purchase a motorcycle. Similarly, friend, whenever we are implementing a project, so the most important thing that how much money is allocated for that project, because if you have a budget you can do the things. So this process it involves estimating the total cost of the project and establishing a budget that will be used as a baseline for monitoring and controlling project costs throughout its life cycle. So the inputs for this process of determining a budget, first one is the cost management plan. Cost management plan tells you the how the project cost will be planned, structured and controlled throughout the project life cycle. Next is the scope baseline. Scope baseline tells you about the scope statement, work breakdown structure and WBS dictionary, which are essential for understanding the work to be done and its associated cost. Okay, scope baseline is another thing that, for example, you want to see, you want to measure that how many, what are the things which are agreed as per the scope that we are going to deliver, and if there are anything which is not part of the scope baseline, it will be considered as out of a scope. Also, a scope baseline used to measure the performance as well. Then next is the project schedule. Project schedule basically provides information about the timing, about the duration of activities, who are the assigned resources, which is basically crucial for estimating resource requirements and cost as well. Resource calendar means that it tells you about the availability of the resources required for the project. For example, it tells you that in the month of January 5 resources are required, in the month of February 4 resources are required, in the month of March again 8 resources are required. So basically it tells you with the month wise resource availability. Then a risk register. A risk register basically contains information about risk and uncertainties that could impact the project cost. That means, for example, any uncertainty that you are not sure whether it will happen or not happen. If it will happen, how it what will be the impact on the project cost. Enterprise environmental factor, basically these are the factors which are external factor that may affect the cost estimating and budgeting process, such as market conditions and industry standards. Organizational process assets are basically the historical information, templates and lesson learned from previous projects that can be used for cost estimations as well. Friend, the tools and techniques are, first one is the cost aggregation, which basically combine the estimated cost of the individual work packages or activities to establish an overall project budget. So basically cost aggregation means that we basically accumulate the cost of work packages so that overall we can calculate the budget of the project. Then a reserve analysis, basically it determines the amount of contingency or reserve that should be included in the budget to account for uncertainties and risk. Reserve analysis means basically, friend, that for example you need $500 for example. So what you can do, you can reserve that, for example, $100 more, that it can be used as well. Then expert judgment, that means you talk with the experts, domain experts, that how to determine the budget, like they have experience in similar project or industry, so their opinion and their value is very important. They will give you a very good opinion about that. Then historical relationships, like using historical information and relationships between project variables to estimate cost. it will be very important that, for example, you have in the past you have done such projects, like you have done the e-commerce solution in the past as well, so you can use that information which was used for determining budget cost related information as well. Then funding limit reconciliation, it ensures that the budget align with the funding constraints and organizational financial guidelines. For example, it tells you that this is the limit of funding. Like for example, you cannot spend more than $5,000, for example. This is the limit. So based on the industry standards, based on the organizational guidelines, you have to consider the limit reconciliations as well. Overall, the output of this process is the approved budget for the project, including contingency reserve. For example, you talk with the experts, after discussion they have analyzed, they have made the budget for the overall cost for the project, and also it has included the the contingency reserve. The contingency reserve means that if, for example, any unforeseen event occur, so in that case it is this reserve could be used for the project as well. Then it also describes the funding needs needed at various points in the project. Also, it will update different projects, like for example the cost management plan, the risk register, and project schedule based on the determined budget as well. Then friend, there are different activities involved. For example, the cost estimation, it develops an estimate of the cost of the resources needed to complete project activities. Cost budgeting means that allocating the overall cost estimate to individual work packages or activities to establish a baseline for measuring performance. Control account management, it basically assigning a control account manager for each control account who is responsible for managing the cost and performance of the associated work. There are key considerations which involves in determining budget. First one is the accuracy versus precision. That means balancing the need for account cost estimates with the available information and the level of detail in the project. Then contingency reserve. Contingency reserve are this is basically the additional buffer amount which must have to consider about any uncertainties, any unforeseen events. Also, we have to involve different stakeholders in the budgeting process, like for example the finance manager, there are different stakeholders who have responsibility related to funding. Maintaining clear documentation of the cost estimation and budgeting process for future reference as well, if it is necessary, if it is required. So basically, friend, the determined budget process is essential for ensuring that the project is adequately funded, that costs are managed effectively, and that the stakeholders have a clear understanding of the financial aspect of the project. The established budget serve as a baseline against which actual performance can be compared and deviations can be identified and addressed through the project life cycle. So friend, thank you. Thanks a lot for watching the video. I hope you like this video. If you like it, please share it with the friends and colleagues. And thanks a lot for watching.